All righty, let's go. As I'm logging in, yeah, let's get got live. So live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and usually Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but now he's in the woods of Virginia. The Jersey Boys Sports Talk by the Sportscast, hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to all our channels on the Sportscast, YouTube, Spotify, X, and you could find this on your podcast on the Apple iPodcast, also on Spotify. Please leave a recommendation and review. It'll help us out tremendously. You guys there?
Yep.
And we're getting ready to rumble. We've got a good show coming on. So we are live. Mr. Byron Jones, you are in the Virginia woods that you said you weren't going back to before. Now you're
I
back
know.
there again.
I lied. I don't know what I was thinking of. We're in Massanutten, Virginia. It's like but right at the edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains or whatever. It's in the middle of it's nice out here. It's pretty nice.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, hold on. I have a little technology. Joe, Mr. Joe Bag of Donuts, the donut bag. How are you doing today? We got a lot to talk about when it comes to what is happening with your
Doing great. Thanks for
with your
having me.
with your Pittsburgh Steelers there, my friend.
Yeah, doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, hold on a second. I am trying to pull up my outline. All right, we got a lot to talk about. So we're going to talk about Dallas, the scrimmage they had with the Giants. I logged out of my piece, so hold on one second, guys. And Byron, so how's it over there? How's the weather like as you go south? It gets hotter, doesn't it?
No, man, it's cold here, man. It's like
It's
40.
cold.
Man, it was 45 degrees at night, like the last 3 nights. 45, 43, 44 degrees at night. And it's
What,
like in the mid 70s during the day.
what part of Virginia are you?
I'm not that far from James Madison University. We're Harrisonburg,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God,
about 20 miles from there.
man, I'd love for that to be that weather right now.
What, 40 degrees? Nah, no, it's a little chilly, man.
A little chilly. I can't
Oh, it's
believe
a
it's
little.
40 degrees in August
Yeah.
in Virginia.
Yes, it's 43. Right now as we speak, it is 46 degrees.
46 degrees.
Yes.
Holy
And
smokes.
in August.
In August. All righty. So let's get going. All right, we're going to talk about a lot. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to get into the Giants and their practice and what's happening with Daniel Jones and how Aaron Rodgers' performance was. And then we're going to talk about the drama in Dallas. Then we'll talk a little bit about Daniels. Daniels, and they released the receiver. So I wonder what they're up to because they sent them to Philadelphia. And obviously, we want to talk about the Steelers and what's going on. Me and Mr. Joey Bag of Donuts been feeding our fans wrong information. I want to talk about the Flores and a few, and then I gotta ask a question about Bo Nix and Zach Wilson. I thought I saw something about Zach Wilson was going to resurrect it. So let's get this going right now. So the Giants preseason practice game against the Giants. That didn't look too good for the Giants. Aaron Rodgers tore apart that defense.
But well, it's a joint practice. It's no big deal right now. But yeah, our defense did not look very good at all. The corners stink. It's not going to be good. As far they need to either sign one of them veteran cornerbacks to put on the other side because what they have out there on the other side of Deontay Banks, uh-uh, uh-uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh-uh.
Well, he threw for 4 touchdowns in a pre-practice game.
Yeah. I guess the Jets are at full speed, as far as, offensively, and their defense did a number on our offense. Daniel Jones threw the ball, they said pretty well. Uh, you know, Neighbors dropped one. Theo Johnson, the tight end, has a problem holding on to the ball. He dropped one, another one, during practice. Evan Neal, our wonderful bust, finally he's worked his way up to the second string tight end, but right tackle right now. So he's back. But yeah, they got a lot of work at the cornerback position and a lot of work at the offensive line position because a lot of those guys, like Runyon, hasn't played yet. He was supposed to be a starter, and now we're mixing and matching the offensive line like we did all of last year.
You know, we've been working on a lot over the last during the 5 years of this podcast. So we have one season at least in between, right? But one out of 5 years of the podcast from the Jersey Boys been kind of hard. Did you see anything on the practice there from Aaron Rodgers, Joey? I don't know if you get a chance to watch a little bit of that.
No, but when it's just a practice, it doesn't. I think they're just working on things. I don't think that really means anything. Even these preseason games, they don't seem to really mean anything. It's like teams don't want to show what they're actually doing, so they do this vanilla crap, and it's just preseason games aren't even not that they were good to begin with, but they just seem really unwatchable this year.
Wait a minute. Wait. Joey, can you say that again? Because I'm getting crucified by some of the Giant fans when I sit there and say, "Oh, well, practice doesn't mean anything. Joint practices. That's where you really evaluate it because they do tape, all this stuff, and the games are mainly for the new guys. They're trying to make the team, and
Yeah.
I'm getting fried when I sit there and say, "Oh, well, preseason games don't mean nothing." Fried.
It's just for evaluating talent. And it seems like even now more than ever, teams don't want to show anything about their schemes. It's not even resembling their offense or defense. So yeah, it's just basically just an extremely vanilla thing. It's just for seeing if who's going to be the third and fourth string and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's just I don't want to say it's useless, but it's hard to watch these games.
You saved me, man. You saved
I
me.
All right,
got you. I got your back.
Hold on. I'm going to counter that a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to counter that a little bit. Now, and I say a little bit because I do believe there's a lot of credence in what you say, and Byron, you as well. But I will tell you, there is no way that a defensive back wants to get torched by Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what kind of game it is. Nobody likes to get beat for a touchdown. Nobody. I don't care what string you are, whatever. And remember, in defense, it's not like they're going 7 deep in defensive backs. These guys got to play. And our defensive backs didn't play well last year. So whoever's in there has to play to some degree. You have to save face. I could see someone getting yardage on you. I could see this and that. But giving up 4 TDs, come on. That's that, I think people take it too light. Like guys trying to throw a game, try to do that. It's so hard in football, right? Number one. And two, they got egos. Now, it doesn't mean things because look, you got to work on it, see what you have to go. But these guys are professional athletes. The guys that are fighting for a job, they got some pride, right? Especially when it's against the New York team. So that's number one. Number two, Aaron Rodgers has got to still look sharp to throw his passes. It's about timing. You're not out there just to nobody. I don't think you can say, hey, we're going out there and it's worthless because, well, let's take a chance of getting hurt and not do anything. I think they're doing some of the things that they need to do, but they have to work on timing. They have to see, how the blocking schemes are going to play. I think it's better when they play against another team because you're practicing against the same team all week. After a while, you're going to pick up tendencies. It gets a little bit easier, right? But I do not believe that the preseason games mean too much, only because the way they're being played now. Byron, back in the day, the starters played.
Yeah,
They played. Right? They played. I mean, and so in one hand, and I'll let you go next. In one hand, we complained last year. We thought, Joey, how you're saying it's unwatchable. The beginning of the season last year was terrible. Every team and everyone's excuse was, well, they didn't play too much in preseason, so they're rusty when they played. So we get to watch 4 weeks of just lousy professional football, And look at Aaron Rodgers, like, look, I'm ready to play. I didn't know I wasn't playing in one game. He wanted to play. He wants to get out there. So I'm with you guys about 80%, 75 to 80% about what it doesn't mean. The other part of it is that as a player, Byron, come on, man. No matter what level you are and it's practice, you don't want to get hurt, but you also don't want someone talking smack and beating you all the time, right? You don't want to. You're a defensive lineman. How do you softly rush?
You don't.
Whether it's preseason or not, whether it's a practice game or not, you don't slack in practice either, right?
Yeah, but Oh, this is,
It's a
it's
hard one. I got you.
nah,
I'm just
nah,
wanting to get the other side of the coin.
okay,
Go
okay.
ahead.
Let me throw my coin out there.
Go ahead.
And we all three of us remember this one. The Giants last year played, I think it was the Carolina Panthers, like the last preseason game or whatever it was,
Hmm.
or whoever was the last one. Daniel Jones went out there for 10 plays, marched down the field, scored or whatever they did. Went out the game. All right, yeah, he looked sharp. Man, and we remember watching that game. They got torched by
I
the
agree.
Dallas Cowboys, 40 to nothing. First
But
game.
let me counter. I get you said that before, and I agree. But if we were back years ago, he would have continued playing, and we may have saw the flaw. Right? I mean, that's the problem. He plays one series. That's it. Everyone's rusty. Everyone's trying to pick up what he's doing. It's not like they know a lot about him, right? He's a good deep thrower. He marches down the field. He should have played more, right? Because
Well,
you can't get it. I mean, you can't get a good test on just one series of your quarterback. You can't get a good test of your lineman, your running back. How can you get any timing down? And that's the problem. I am agreeing with you, but I'm saying I think it's hurting the game. And it's hurting the players, and it's hurting watching the season. Forget about preseason. The beginning of the season games seem bad. Joey?
This is why eventually they're going to go to 18 regular season games and only 2 preseason games, because these preseason games are terrible. I think part of the problem was when they went from 4 preseason games to 3. When you had 4, you had a pretty much every team did the same thing. They didn't play very many starters in the first game. Second game, they played starters a little bit more. Third game was the quote unquote dress rehearsal where the starters played most of the time. And then fourth game, not so much. Now it's all over the place. You have one team's starters going against the other team's third string. And of course they're going to look good. It's all mismatched. It's all, and like you said, yeah, they're most teams they hardly, some of them don't play their starters at all during the whole preseason. It's ridiculous.
And then there's excuses in the beginning of the season. So I think that, if I was part of the collective bargaining agreement, I would do something to incentivize players to play more in preseason. Period. Whether it's a
yeah, but
it's instead of paying 18, because Byron, you're paying 18 games, man, that is so much wear and tear
yeah,
on
but
those
yeah,
guys.
but you're getting 18 game check. You get paid game checks. You're getting a check for each game that you play. And the
I
preseason is something,
well, well, well
whatever they give you.
hence me saying move it to getting paid for some preseason games. Make it worth it, because it's almost like the more games you play, the worse the beginning of the season is. Okay. And
Yeah,
then
but
I think injuries are up because they're not practicing real live games until the game comes. And now you're at full speed,
yeah, but
right?
they're
And you're
doing that.
not in condition. You got no timing down. You have nothing. I just think that they should do something to incentivize better preseason games. Number
Yeah,
one.
but
And one more thing. Let's make believe we're all owners, right? You own a team, I own a team, Joey owns a team. Okay. And this is just me, right? If I was Giants, I own the Giants though. I own the Giants, okay? And they've been terrible for so long. I really don't care. You're playing preseason because you've been bad already. What am I going to lose? Oh, I'm going to worry about you getting hurt.
Somebody gets
What's it?
hurt.
What? Why am I going to worry about it? When you're healthy, you're playing terrible anyways. I'm here to win. I'm here to
man,
win. So you need to play. It's time. You should be in shape. I put you through OTAs. I put you through all season training. You're playing. Now, you may not play the whole game, but you ain't playing one series. You're playing enough for me to evaluate. I do not care what that other team is doing. So one, if you're up to par where I expect you to be, that we're paying you all this money, you should demolish that other team because they're not playing. Okay. I want your reps. I want the linemen in there. I want everyone in there. You're playing because I am playing. So I want to get a jump start on the rest of you guys who are not prepared for the first 4 games. And let me get at least a chance, a jump start, because I haven't been winning for 14 or 15 years. Now, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, right, and you're winning, as that owner, I may take a different approach. Okay. But I'm just telling you, when you're a lousy team for that long a time, I don't think that the same recipe to make your meatloaf is going to taste any better because it's been Terrible. You said 1972. Terrible, Byron.
Whoa.
Did you say that? You said
Yes,
that New York
yeah.
was 1972.
Yeah,
Terrible.
no.
Okay. So that would be me as an owner. Byron, you own a team. Pick a team. I don't care who it is.
Seattle Seahawks.
All right.
Okay. All of it is the same. All of them do OTAs. Everybody. Everything is the same all the way across the board. The amount of preseason games are the same. Everybody. Now they're doing this joint practice thing where everybody, they're flying in, and then they're turning around like this week. The Giants are with the Jets this week, and they're playing all week. Then they play the game on Saturday. What's it like? And speak of that for a second. What's the use of Aaron Rodgers playing, on Saturday when he's already practiced against these guys, all week long anyway? And then, you want to like the money thing. Now, I'm being owner right now. Now we're the owner with the preseason. Okay, you got 3 preseason games, so they're getting paid per week. Now, with preseason, not their game check, so they're getting the preseason, whatever veteran thing is, they're getting a check every week. So, as an owner, do you think I want to change? Well, you know what? I want to give these guys everybody a game check. So now you dig it in my pocket as an owner, because now I'm giving all of these guys a game check. Some of them that might, I'm giving 90 guys instead of 53. So now you're cutting into my margin.
So wait a second, real quick. So for our listeners, okay, and our viewers, are you saying that on the 90 team roster, if you don't get in a game, they don't get paid?
Yeah, no, they're getting paid. They're getting the preseason check.
So they're all 90 are getting a preseason check.
All of them are getting.
So what's the difference if they're playing or not?
Because now, like what you said, you want to pay, play them as far as like give them a game check to make these guys.
No, I'm saying I'm the owner, and it is what it is. I had 2 points. One, if I was changing the agreement, make it so they had to pay them, give them something, maybe not 90, not all their full checks. Because, not all of them have the contract that they're going to get game day checks. They don't even have that big of a contract, the other guys. I'm saying now that's a different story. I'm saying right now, the way it is now, not giving them more, the way it is now, playing these guys. That's all. So now you own the Seahawks. Are you saying you're going to continue the way it is? Now Seahawks have been playing.
Continue the way it is.
All right. Joey, you heard my perspective. You got a team. I don't care what team it is. Right? You remember for me, it's not fair because I said 2 teams. You got to decide the type of team. So let's all right, let me change the narrative. Let's say you got the Jets, a team that's been lousy for a long time. You got not the Seattle. They've been just teams that have been really bad, right? For a long time, right? How would you now give your narrative if you own the team against mine or same or whatever? That's what I'm trying to get from that team, right? When you're bad, you're bad.
In terms of what, playing the starters and stuff?
I know it was like my example. The Giants have been bad for so long. I'm playing my team. I'm playing my players more. I'm not going to play them the full game, but I'm going to play them way more than they're playing today because I need them to be ready and prepared, and I need to put a better team on the field.
See, to me, the problem is there's too many people. There's too many players. You have 90 players, and you're going to knock that down to 53 or whatever. What are those other what are those 30 some players actually doing? They're even like the 40th through 53rd person. They're not even going to play a lot. If it was my team, I would say you pick your starters, and those starters play together the whole time. The other 40 some, they could go drink water. They could go, I don't know what. They could go play hopscotch or whatever. I'm going to spend all my time making sure that the team that's actually going to play is prepared for the season. I think that's part of the problem is you have way too many players. It used to be you cut down from 90 to 70 to 60 to 50 or whatever. Now it's 90 until the very end of training camp. What are these people doing? You're wasting everybody's time. I want to get the team ready to play in the preseason, not make everybody happy. And this isn't little league.
Yeah, but you need all those bodies in there for practice bodies because you want the ones going against the ones. That could create a problem too because you got the one guy and getting hurt, but you just want bodies, in the camp, so that doesn't happen.
I just want my ones to be ready. That's all. That's the main focus. The ones to be ready. Not.
So I want to turn around your point. So the ones to be ready, they got to play.
Yes.
So you would
Yes.
play them longer. I'm not saying the
Yes.
whole game, but you would play them longer. I think
Definitely.
Daniel Jones needs to play longer. Everybody's on him. He's been playing bad. He's been hurt. The team has been terrible. We're giving all the excuses. You're getting paid. I rather bleed in practice than die in battle.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's the bottom line. So I need to be prepared for battle. And you're not prepared playing one series going down against the other team. Like you said, it doesn't have their full team. They're not full tilt. And one series is worthless, is worthless. And,
Well,
and you made your point. He did look good. 40
yeah.
first game. So
Well,
why
I'm
was
gonna.
that good to bench him? And now an Aaron Rodgers, a little bit different. I may take that a little bit more lightly, especially I was practicing on the MetLife Stadium field. So I may not put him out there too much, right?
I'm gonna show my age. Back in the day, in the '70s, the Giants used to go 6-0 every year. Every year, because they used to play Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jets all the time in the '70s. That was like an annual thing. They would go 6-0, 5-1. Yeah, 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 we're gonna be. And then next year, you know, the season start. Up there it goes, whoop, right down. So, and they played their starters a lot. Them starters were out there. You know, and I remember going to plenty of preseason games.
Every team did. It wasn't just
Yeah,
Giants.
yeah, but I'm talking about what I saw as far as with the Giants, and as far as how bad we were in the '70s, like the early '70s, that they would, 5-1, 6-1. Yeah, yeah, all right, it's gonna be our year. Next, 2-12, 5-9, or whatever. Dude, it was bad, and they played their starters like all the time. The whole they played to win every game, and they sucked once the season started, and that was for years.
Okay. I get it. I just think that I think the consensus there's kind of a mixed, but the consensus is we agree that preseason has gotten really bad. It's too many players. We also agree that the beginning of the year, the games seem to be bad as well, right? And we're attributing that because they're not playing, they're not practicing. All I'm saying is if you're a bad team, I don't care because if you're healthy and we're stinks, I don't care if you're hurt. If we stink, we're stink. That's the common denominator. So I expect you to play a little bit more in preseason because I need to make sure I got the right guy. I need to sure you're in tune and you need to be prepared, period. Right. And if you're playing against and you're a starter and you're playing against guys that may not even make the team on the 90th squad, you should dominate them. You're that much better. You're a starter on an NFL team. You're getting a guy who's going to be cut in 2 weeks. So there's no, what do you more? I'm more worried about going against Boza the entire game than I'm worried about going 3 or 4 series against guys that are not going to be on a team.
Yeah.
So anyhow, all right, let's move on. We'll build it to that point. Hey, by the way, I want to make a state of record, a statement that I was wrong, but I'm gonna correct it. Number one.
What?
So Aaron Rodgers, first of all, I want to ask this question. If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, where do you rank the Jets? Joey?
If he stays healthy, which I highly doubt he will, I think the season's going to be.
The
You know what?
assumption he is. Let's say he is.
Okay, even if he is, this season is going to be a disaster. That is an old man coming out there who hasn't really done it for over a year now. You have an old man who's rusty in New York. Those are 3 recipes for disaster. Even if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, it's going to be a bad season and it's going to get ugly because they have such high expectations with the Jets. And I'm telling you, it's going to get ugly and
There
it's
you
going to
go.
get nasty.
Byron.
Disaster. That's what I predict for the Jets. Disaster.
Right. Joey's prediction. Nasty. I feel like I'm on Rocky Balboa. Go ahead.
I might as well join the bandwagon.
Don't be up to your bandwagon. You're so flip-flopping, man.
I'm gonna be a
God.
flip flopper. I'm gonna be a hater today. I'm hate. I got a lot of. I'm in the mountains today. I got a lot of hate. So
and he's cold. And he's cold.
And I'm cold too, man. It's cold up here. But yes, he is coming off injury. He's an older quarterback. They did sign Tyron Smith, the left tackle that's always hurt. that used to be with with the Dallas Cowboys. So their offensive line is going to be kind of it all depends. If they stay healthy, they should be okay. If they don't,
No, if
it's
he
going to be
stays,
a
it's one
if
question.
if
Ryan, okay, it's a statement. Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. Where do you place the Jets? That's the question. Joey
second place,
said didn't
second
matter.
second place
My
behind
God, and
Miami,
he picked behind Miami. Oh my God!
behind Miami.
All right, I am telling you right now, guys. First of all, one Rodgers, assuming that Rodgers stays healthy. Okay, the Jets. Here's where I'm correcting myself. This part I was right. The Jets over the last two seasons have averaged giving up 19 points, 19.27 points per game. Okay, over the last two seasons. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, I used to say was 80-10. I heard a new stat that he's 80-2 when his defense holds teams under 20 points. Okay. So I think that if he's healthy, they're going to win the conference. Okay. The other thing is, you compare Rodgers. Okay. He's old, this and that. Okay, great. Coming off an injury, I understand that. But listen to me. Matt Stafford was old, went to Los Angeles Rams and won. Okay. Brady wasn't that young chickadee when he went to the Bucks and he won.
Whoa, 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 whoa! You can't compare him with Brady.
Time out. Do
All
you
right, go
know
ahead.
over the last four MVPs, Rodgers, the last four, he won two of them.
How many Super Bowls have he won?
Okay. We asked how they were going to do. Now you're asking
I'm,
about the Super Bowl.
just ask you a question.
I feel like Barkley. Every time we get into an argument, do you got a championship ring? Every time we get an argument, we're Super Bowl. I'm like, dude,
But
they,
that's what they
wait,
play for.
I
That's what they play
understand
for.
that, Byron,
Okay.
but every week we agree that it would be we had this session. Joey was part of it. What would be a successful season? The Jets winning one playoff game. That's what
Yeah,
we agreed was a successful season. That would be a
yeah,
home run. You even
yeah.
said they'd win the Super Bowl in 2 years, Byron. So
I
now
did.
you're going, yeah, you did.
I don't remember saying
So,
that.
anyways, so let me keep going. Matthew Stafford, Brady, Peyton Manning. These are some older. Now, Peyton Manning had a great defense, but Joe Montana took Kansas City to the playoffs. Okay, we can go old after old after old. This still is a talented dude. Okay, and he doesn't play like a Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have to run the ball. He's a pure RPO. Let me get that ball out. Let's play the game. So if he's healthy, I disagree. I think they're going to have a really good season because with lousy quarterbacks, they still performed on defense, right? And with an 80-2 record, even if slightly off of that, that's a pretty good record. You got to admit, 80-2. So I predict that if he's healthy, they're going to win the conference.
Wow. You changed again?
I haven't changed anything. I always picked when he's healthy to win the conference.
Okay.
Last year, I'm picking him this year.
Okay.
All right. That's it. That's my story. Any rebuttals on there? Joey, still the same? You heard me name a lot of old quarterbacks.
There's old and then there's 40 years old. Matthew Stafford was like 34 when he went to the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning, he was a little bit older, but right now Aaron Rodgers is 40 and he'll be 41 in December. Or in terms of quarterback years, that's ancient. And look at him. He looks like the guy has not had a Big Mac in 30 years. He's so skinny. I don't think he's going to hold up. But
All right. Let's move on. I'm just telling you. I think the guy is still he in the last 4 years he's won 2 MVPs. What are we missing that we're taking away from this poor guy? All right.
He hasn't won a Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
I understand, but we all
so
agree
31
that
other teams.
exactly. And neither has Lamar Jackson, and he's won a few. All right, let's go. The drama in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb. Okay, do you know that he's holding out a camp, right, for a new contract, and he had an NFL high 135 passes, 1,749 yards, and 12 touchdowns. He was averaging 10 targets per game for their offense, and with the average like 64 offensive plays, that's 17% of their offense is going through CeeDee Lamb. What is wrong with Dallas? Joey?
Oh boy, we don't have enough hours in the day to talk about what's wrong with Dallas. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. Uh, why are you not paying CD Lamb? Dak, I can understand. He's getting a little bit older. Maybe they decided he's not the guy or whatever. But CD Lamb is the number 2 wide receiver in all of football. What are we doing? And the more they wait, the more they have to pay him. What is their problem? And all you're doing is making him angry. And now what these wide receivers do and these players and holdouts, they hold in. So they're at the thing so they don't get fined, but they don't really do anything. So they're not really going to be in shape. They're not going to be prepared for the season. It's just a disaster all around. I don't know what on earth. I don't know what got into that guy's head.
Byron, I don't say they're going to sell the team. I
I'm
know
gonna
that's your
say it.
first answer.
I'm
It's
gonna
your
say it
first answer.
again.
I stop saying it. Just
What?
give me the answer. What's
It's
wrong
the,
with them besides them
it's the
selling the
truth.
team?
It's okay. I'm gonna say it again anyway. I don't care what you say. That team is worth $10 billion. The line of succession on that team is Stephen
It's a
Jones.
lot of timeshares.
Yeah, I know. Stephen Jones, right? Stephen Jones doesn't want to do what his father's doing. He's going to sell that team, that $10 billion team, and divvy up that money with the Jones family and be done with it. That's why they don't want to pay these
Yeah,
guys.
but he's running the team now. Why wouldn't he want to keep on running the team? It's really Jerry Jones isn't even doing that much.
He
It's
doesn't want to be the guy. He doesn't want to be the face of the Dallas Cowboys.
Joey, they make $1 billion something in revenue per year. It's almost like there's no reason to bother selling. Why? You're making $1 billion just in
why
revenue.
sell it for 10 billion when in a few years you could sell it for 20 billion? Yeah, just hold on to
But
it.
why sell it in 20 years? You're gonna be making $2 billion a year. I mean, how much
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a cash cow. Just keep it on.
He's
It's
going to
a, it's
sell
a,
it. Sell it.
it's a signature team, you know. Anyhow, I think that CD Lamb just to be that much now, Joey. The only thing I disagree with you, my experience, what I've seen receivers are elite at that level, elite athletes. He's staying in shape. I mean, he's doing his stuff when he's not there. I mean, they do. Number one, number two, he knows the plays that are called for him, so he's making sure which plays are his. He
Yeah,
gets
but working
13
at the
targets.
timing with the quarterback.
I get it, but hey, maybe that's what they're doing. But in his point, I think he's still going to perform. I think receivers can perform better. I think the quarterback will have a harder time. It's hurting Dak. I think it's hurting Dak more than it's hurting CD Lamb. See, the receivers get out there, they're going to adjust. Because remember, back when we played, right, Byron, it was like run this route exactly like I told you. This option routes, this came about, maybe 10, 15 years ago, right? Where like, you can adjust, right? When they told me to run a post,
You
I
ran a
ran
post.
a post. I didn't. Oh, let me break. You know what I mean? Oh, the quarterback is scramble. Okay, yes, run parallel to the quarterback. But outside of that, these guys, I mean, I'm impressed how fast they're able to pick up, cutting left, cutting right, finding the zone openings. These tight ends, Kelsey, all these guys. So receivers, I think I have it better. I think the quarterback is going to have a bigger problem there.
But what usually happens every time somebody holds out, like a receiver? What happens? As soon as they sign their money, what happens? They get hurt. I'm not wishing bad on nobody. I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying every time,
But not
whatever
yet.
they sign,
AJ Brown hasn't gotten hurt.
they haven't
Justin
pulled a hamstring.
Justin Jefferson hasn't gotten hurt.
He's hurt. He got hurt last year. Well,
Yeah, but I mean,
he got hurt.
yeah. So I mean, these guys are, they're playing. So, all right. Well, that's the deal with them. That's the big drama there. I think they could wait. I think nobody in the entire NFL world understands what is happening with CeeDee Lamb.
So all right, Dallas, real quick. Who's their big time running back? Who's their running back this year?
Emmitt
Right
Smith.
now?
No.
This year, Ezekiel.
and who else?
I don't remember who the other guy is.
Nobody knows. Nobody who knows who they are.
There you go.
You got him and all these other guys.
They do have a few running backs. They do have quite a few running backs.
Yeah, they got like 5. They got Deuce McAllister, I think. The guy that's like 5'2". Come on, really?
There are no names. Yeah,
whole bunch of no names. All 5 of them.
All right, and now let's get to Washington real quick because I want to get into the other side with Joey. Time is it? Yeah, we got to move. Jaden Daniels, right? Everyone's predicting him to have a really good year, and then they go away and trade their receiver to Phillies trade and then they trade him to the Eagles. What do you think? Are they trying to find cap space? Are they trying to get another receiver? You think something went wrong? I mean, this kid had 11 touchdowns last year.
Something had to go wrong
First round
because
pick.
former first round pick, and they trade him for, and the best they could get is sort of kind of a third rounder, but they had to give up a fifth rounder and stuff like that. Something had to happen. Attitude problem. They just don't like him. Whatever. But
He had 11 TDs.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what year is he in his contract? Is he going into the fifth year?
Second.
no,
That's it.
I think it's his second year.
Oh,
He's
that's
gotta be
it's
more
only
than
2
that.
years.
no, I think it's his third year or something like that. I think he still
Yeah,
has
he's-
one more
he's-
year
he's-
plus. You could do the 5th-year option.
Yeah, man, he's not. It's not.
Maybe they don't want to pay him.
Yeah, because his career stats, I only have 2 years. Oh, it was 2004. Let me see if I can get his stats.
Yeah, he's a young guy. They ain't been there long.
He's young, dude. I mean,
Don't they have
he's
a
only
new
tw-
coach?
he's only 24. Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
with Washington for 2 years since 2002.
Don't they have a new coach and a new GM in Washington? Basically, they don't like him. Either they don't like him or something happened behind
He
the
went.
scenes.
He played in 12 games in 17. He had 61 targets, then 83 targets. He scored. He only scored 4. He total a total 11 touchdowns in 2 years, 7 and 4. That's it. I mean, maybe not so hot, but I mean, still, it's only 2 years, and he was a first round pick. But he only had 500 yards each year. But you got Jaden Daniels. Something's going wrong there. It seems funny.
Yeah,
And
something
to
happened.
trade him in division.
Yeah,
you usually
yeah,
don't
that's
do that.
another thing.
I mean, you're
You
trading in
never
division.
do that.
I mean, yeah, well, yeah, don't say that. Saquon Barkley. That's not.
Oh, no, that wasn't a trade.
That wasn't a trade.
That wasn't even a trade. That was a gimme. That's
It was a
embarrassing.
gift.
It was like, here, we would like you to win.
Well, look when they traded what's his name, McNabb from the Eagles to the 40 Washington back in the day.
Washington. Yeah, that was another. That backfired.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about Dobson and both sides. All right, let's get into this. Yeah, we don't got. I don't care about the other. Well, I just want to make one comment, and let's get into the Steelers for Joey. Okay. All right. Am I mistaken? But I saw a post that Sean Payton is going to resurrect Zach Wilson's career.
Yep.
Did I see that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you saw that.
And who's the name starter?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
Okay, so how is the backup quarterback going to be resurrected his career?
Who knows?
That's your guy. That's your guy. That's your guy, Byron.
He's
And you posted it.
he's still.
And you posted it.
Then
And you were like, yeah, I told you. I'm like, wait, what's
Zach
going
Wilson.
on? And then I see Bo Nix is the man, the future, and he's starting.
Zach Wilson is going to get that job before the end of the year. I'm gonna stick with Zach Wilson. I'm gonna stick to the bitter end.
You are the most hopeful, flip flopping guy I've ever seen in my life, man. I'm telling you, it went from resurrection to career that he's gonna be the rookie of the year to
Rookie of the year first.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm just naming them all. Yeah, Joey, I don't know, but I think being resurrected in second string is kind of hard.
If you can't beat a rookie, come on. That doesn't bode well for your career, Zach Wilson. You can't. He's a baby. You can't beat a baby. Come on.
Now to give Zach Wilson a little credence, I don't like Sean Payton. I don't trust him. Right. So you don't know, what he was doing because, maybe he flip-flopped or maybe the news was out there, right, of what he wanted to do. But for him to think if he was one of the guys that mentioned he's going to resurrect his field and then picks the other guy, I think I would like to see a Bo Nix. I would like to go back to the way it used to be. Dan Marino didn't start. Right?
For the rookie year?
Yeah. He
He
didn't
did.
start. No, he started late in the game. He didn't start first game. It was like several games before he started. He didn't start game one. He came in later. They were all saying that's what helped a lot of these guys. They didn't throw him right to the fire. I still believe that that's a problem. Brady made a comment. I thought it was running. He's just like saying the game is dumbed down, this and that. And he got a little heat for that. But I think it's a problem throwing these guys in the fire so early. Give them some time, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, you can't ask for any look, and I'm not saying the whole year, right? I'm just saying give him some time, let the other guy get underneath. Know it's a rebuilding season. Unless you think you got every piece, the only piece is missing is a quarterback. Give that rookie some time to watch the game because it's so much faster. You know that, Byron. It's better than anybody here. It is lightning quick. Your reads, your options, everything you have to go against is a lot faster. Give them some time to develop. Why do you think that I hate when these quarterbacks get drafted in the first round for the worst team in the league? It's almost like a death sentence. You know what I mean? So I would like to see that because I don't think it makes sense. But anyhow, that's just me. But I just had to bring up Bo Nix
well,
and
well,
Zach
I'm
Wilson.
gonna bring it up anyway. Just remember this: Zach Wilson is only a year older than Bo Nix.
Really?
That's even worse.
Yes,
He's been in the yeah, but he's been in the league for like 4 years.
and Bo Nix has been in college football for 15. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
So okay, all right, maybe it is the same. All right, let's go. Let's get into the bad boy that Mr. Joey Bag of Donuts is here to talk about. All right, Joey, tell us the boots on the ground. What's happening with Pittsburgh? Because I keep hearing these things that are going out. I still haven't seen Tomlin on a speak about anything. So until I hear from Tomlin, what's going on?
So this season they've had a new offensive coordinator, two new quarterbacks, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Russell Wilson has been hurt with a calf injury most of camp, so he hasn't been doing much. It's been Justin Fields playing most of the time, but there's been two preseason games and the offense has looked horrible and people are freaking out. And it's not just the offense, it's the offensive line is looking terrible. And they spent all these first round draft picks on tackles, and they're still looking bad. So people are panicking. I don't know. I don't know. It's not looking good. The offense looks very bad. So we'll see if they get better.
Hmm.
Okay, I guess all right, who do you think is going to be the starting quarterback in the beginning of the season?
Russell Wilson.
Okay. So we're still on the same page. Byron, what are your thoughts? Are you buying into any? Because it's not like Justin Fields is lighting it up.
Well, who'd you pick?
Russell
Russell
Wilson.
Wilson.
I'm gonna go with the other guy. I gotta go opposite. Go
The other
opposite.
guy, he
You
doesn't
just
even
want
know his
chaos
name.
today.
Just chaos. I'm going with Justin Wilson. Phil, whatever his name is, Justin
Justin
Fields.
Fields.
Yeah, that guy.
Justin Wilson. That's awesome.
It's a combination of both.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Look, and what's bothering me even worse. First of all, I want to see Russell Wilson do well. That's the bottom line. I trust Tomlin, right? This is the best talents he's had. I'd like to see Russell Wilson do well because I'm not big on, maybe we get some time. We're going to talk about the Flores and Tua stuff. But, if that's true, we saw Peyton do it publicly to Russell Wilson, right? And I just like to see Russell Wilson do better, you know, um, they're really starting to say like, look, he's holding on to the ball too long. He's getting, maybe Sean Payton was right. I don't think you're right for belittle, what they were doing to Tua, and Payton was doing the same thing. So, I'm still of the opinion that until I see Tomlin talk about it, Russell Wilson's going to be a starter.
Yeah.
Right. I think
There's
I think they're gonna run the ball more. They're gonna do some stuff, it's but again, everyone complains about how the offense looks horrible, and then we just argued in the beginning of the show how nobody plays in preseason. So
yeah,
how can you have an awesome offense if you're not playing anybody?
right. Right.
All right, this is my
So
question, Joey. This is my question here. So I'm looking at it now. You had a first round pick, Troy Fontu. What is it? He's not starting, right?
Well, he's not starting because he's hurt.
Okay.
He is supposed to be the starter when the season starts. So
And
he's going to be the right tackle.
he's going to be the right tackle, and they
He's
got
going to be the
Broderick.
right. Broderick Jones was the first round draft pick last year, and he was the right tackle, but this year he's supposed to be the left tackle. But he is playing with a hurt elbow, and in the last preseason game, he got thrown around like a rag doll.
And
So
he is
unfortunately,
huge.
he's a big guy, and he played really well last year. But this year he looks terrible because he has a hurt elbow that he basically can't move, and he's playing through it. Well, he's playing really poorly through it, so that's causing a big problem because it's making the entire offensive line look bad.
Then you guys signed Isaac Salamalo from the Eagles.
Yeah, he was a free agent from the Eagles a year or two ago. He's really good. He's a really good guard.
Okay. And then you signed Hamilton. He used to be with the Giants, just so you know, just in case he stinks.
Oh, okay, he does.
Uh,
But and then at center they have a rookie, Zach Frazier. He was in the second round this year, and he's supposed to play. He's supposed to start. Um, but yeah, if you have one weak link on your offensive line, you're pretty much screwed, and that's what's going on.
well, we got five, so we know what it's like.
Yeah. And we still don't want to play our quarterback too much in preseason.
About the same.
I don't get it.
Pittsburgh and the Giants are about the same. The same family, same family.
Pretty
No,
much.
Pittsburgh's still a better team. Pittsburgh has never had a losing season in 17 years, so they're not the same.
Uh,
They're not the same. And they've won, they've also won a Super Bowl. Now, who's won? No, Giants won the earliest of the Super Bowls, right? Yeah,
I don't know.
Giants have won more Super Bowls than the Steelers in the past, say, 20
10 years.
years.
yeah. In
Yeah.
other words, the most recent Super Bowl of the two is the Giants, right, with Eli.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. But again, I think they just like drawing up the pieces, right? There's like pulling this together and then, causing fire. But you hear it so much, it's almost like fake news becomes real news because you hear it so much, right? And you would
Well,
think Tomlin would come and say something, but he doesn't need to. I like Tomlin, so I'm gonna trust that. All right, let's go. Anything else on Pittsburgh?
just that, yeah, the national media for some reason is pushing this narrative that there is a quarterback competition, and I've been saying, and the local people have been saying the whole time that really hasn't been. They're just giving Justin Fields a look. They want to see because they want him to be the long-term starter. Russell Wilson's only here for a year or two because he's old. But Justin Fields is supposed to be the future. They want to see if he actually is the future. That's why they're giving him a long look. Also because Russell Wilson's been hurt.
Mhm. All right. So let's get to the Tua Flores. That kind of blew my mind. I don't know why it's coming out now. Is it because he signed his contract and now he's willing to say what he's got to say?
Yes.
But there's reports that there's some verification that there's some truth to the way Flores was handling them. Number one, and I'll let you go, Byron. And then number two, remember Flores wanted Herbert. He never wanted Tua. Like that was his beef with the GM for the Dolphins. That I didn't select Tua. I wanted Herbert. Right? What are your thoughts, Byron?
This is something probably that should have never came out because all it does is diminish the stuff that Brian Flores has done as far as being a head coach and the possibility of him never getting another head coaching job because of a situation like this as far as bad mouthing a player usually you keep that stuff behind closed doors or whatever problem you have with him you go behind like a man you go behind the door say whatever you have to say to him but to beat the guy down in practice, if that's what he did, as far as, some of the things he said, he basically just didn't want the guy, just like you said, and he wanted another quarterback. And that should have been a conversation between him, Flores and the GM, if that's what, he wanted, another
It
guy.
was, but he did it on both sides. He didn't care. Flores didn't care.
Yeah, and you see how that worked out, though. Now he's a defensive coordinator, and the likelihood of him probably getting a head coaching job is, just because of the situation like this just hurts him, in the future. And Tua got paid. There's nothing else you really can say about that. He's doing his thing down there in Miami.
Joey?
You've had thousands of players play in the NFL, and I guarantee there's been thousands of players that have been upset with their coach, upset with the team, upset with the owner, whatever. But you don't hear them talk about it. You don't hear them badmouth the team. They keep it to themselves. I'm not sure why, maybe because of professionalism. I don't know. For him to do that,
Who's him? You remember we're talking about two men, so
for
you gotta we gotta
us to say that that Flores, treated him badly or whatever. I don't know. I mean, we talk about our people today too soft. Um, Brian Flores came from the Belichick Patriots, and we know that Belichick was very hard on the players. And I'm sure, and the other coaches that were under Belichick, I'm sure they try to adopt his style and also be hard on the players. Um, you know, so I don't know. I don't know. Was he too hard on them? Some players you need to be softer with. You need to, not all people are the same. Some of them you can scream at and some of them you can't. So I don't know. It's just not a good look for everybody. It makes Flores look bad. I think it makes Tua look bad too because he's just crapping on somebody, and that's just not professional.
well, two things. One, I saw a show and I read where Lawrence Taylor said that as much as Parcells let him do what he wanted, he said Parcells was on him every day, telling him, hey, he was, like on him hard. But being on a defensive player, right? Like they breed us to be aggressive, right? Like dirty dog, like really aggressive, right? So you're the more mad you are, the more they feel you take it out on the team, right? And that's this guy doing it to Lawrence Taylor. So it was totally different how we were coached, what's coached now. But Coughlin, the Giants didn't win on the Coughlin until they had a veteran meeting with Coughlin and told him to relax. He was over, like if you're a minute late, he had to play. They had to play both sides, right? Strahan came out and said, "Look, we had to sit down with Coughlin. Look, you gotta, take it easy on some of the veterans. You know what I mean? Everything has changed. You have to you have to develop with how the players are. Every year it's different. The other thing is Dick Vermeil also had to change. Dick Vermeil's old school coach. When Dick Vermeil finally won, he had to change his style. He was a hard head coach when he went to the Rams. You know what I mean? So I believe that there's a difference being hard on someone than belittling them. And what Tua was saying that Flores was doing was not appropriate at any level, right? Number one. And number two, at what time does someone actually call someone out? Right. So someone has to, that's just my opinion. I think there's a point where someone needs to be called out on that because he could easily just mentally ruin that kid's career. Right. And there was no reason to have to do that. Look, at the end of the day, go buy the Dallas Cowboys, Flores, since they're for sale, according to Byron, right? And then run the team the way you want to. But when you're the owner picks who you have and gives you the players you have, you need to cook the groceries that they gave you, right? And so you need to, be hard on him, but tell him he's not worthy. And Flores didn't back down from what he said. He didn't like he came out. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I mean, he literally kind of like was apologizing for how he handled things. Okay. That's a bad sign on Flores' side. I don't think Tua has anything to worry about because he's got his contract. He said what he had to say, and I just think that you have to look. I had to develop my career differently. I had to handle people differently. I coached my daughter's team. I coached my son's team. Coaching girls and coaching boys were totally different. Girls taught me to coach better. They listen, but you don't need to scream as much. So that's just my point of view. I think that, I don't want to see any minority coach get hurt for a position, but I also don't we should lead by example as minorities and not treat people in a manner that we don't want to be treated.
Yeah, but you don't think he got coached hard down at Alabama with Nick Saban?
Yeah, but I don't think
Nick
Yeah.
Nick Saban is an old school coach, and I'm
yeah, but
sure
yeah, but Nick Saban,
eh,
there hasn't been anybody. Nick Saban has produced so many
tons of
NFL
them.
players, right? And he's produced some pretty decent quarterbacks that
Yeah,
even left his team to go somewhere else. And he won by replacing them with no problem. So I think he's hard on. There's a difference between being hard, Byron, you know that, and just being downright mean.
yeah,
There's a
it's a
huge, I
different.
mean, it's a huge difference. You know what I mean? So I think that's just, let's not confuse being hard on a player, and then pump, it's okay being hard on them, but you got to pump them up. You know what I
You,
mean? I mean, your value starts there now, remember, I'm in sales. I've been in sales. I've been leading sales, leading companies, this and that. And, you got to, your leader sets the tone,
yeah,
right?
but I've coached a long time. Now I'm still with the little guys, and you have to be able to pick and choose who you can be hard on. You can't be, or coach not hard, but
Okay.
I'm just saying coach hard. You have to pick and choose. Everybody, you can't treat everybody the same. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. I don't care if it's 30 guys. You got 30 different ways, to get, this kid, to respond the way you want. So you can speak to this one this kind of way. You can speak to this one this way. This one here needs a kick in the butt, and it varies. And it's a lot being a coach. It's 30 different personalities, but you have to know the kid that you can yell at and the one that you can't yell at. And that's the way I've been, the last 30 years I've been coaching.
So but think about it. You've seen Tua in his conferences. He doesn't look like a guy. He looks like a really decent, nice guy. Is he
Yeah,
Samoan or something? Or like they're kind of indigenous
laid back.
type people. Like, yeah. So he doesn't look like the guy. Like, hey, let me beat on you. And look, Brady, Belichick coached Brady hard, and even your boy Aaron Bruce Arians came out on Brady. But Brady always had a chip on his shoulder because he was a 6th round pick. So
Oh no.
he always had a chip. When you're the 1st round pick, winning a national championship, a Heisman Trophy, I think that chip isn't as big as a guy who's 6th round. Joey,
I just hope. I mean, Flores is currently the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. I think and hope that he has learned from this. Um, because yeah, I think he knows he went too far. And yeah, there's a difference between you could be hard on someone without being nasty toward them or belittling them. So yeah, no, I've never heard anybody. Everybody that's talked about Nick Saban has said, yeah, he's hard, but nobody has said, oh, he's terrible or anything like
Yeah.
that. So
Yep.
you have to respect that. But hopefully Flores has learned from that because it sounds like Flores was definitely in the wrong for how he treated them. So hopefully it was a lesson.
and also remember, winning is very hard to knock somebody down. Also, so even if Saban, we don't know what's going on, there's going to be too many fans to come to his defense because he won so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. But they also say that Saban wasn't one that, like, he was hard, but he didn't really talk to a lot of players. Like, he would just walk right by players. So it wasn't like he was constantly having a conversation with them, right? He talked to players he needed to talk to. If not, those players were scared. They would walk right around them, but I think that you know, Tua seems to like the way he's coaching. He's being coached. He performed. He stayed healthy. He's got his new contract, and I just thought it was interesting. It was a little shocking. It saddened me because I liked Flores. Byron, you know that, right?
Yep.
I was happy that he got a job you didn't hear anything from Pittsburgh, right? And look, it wasn't who's our guy that came from Kansas City, went to Washington? I can't
The
remember
enemy.
his name right now. The offense,
Eric the enemy.
the enemy. Remember those guys were complaining about him rather heavy, right? Nobody complained about him in Kansas City.
Yeah, because they were winning.
Exactly. Okay. But remember when he left, those receivers started dropping balls.
Yeah.
Okay, so but no one says he was belittling them. Even when they said he was hard on those guys, nobody said the rough stuff that Flores said. So again, saddened to hear that about Flores because I liked him. I'd like to see him get another head coaching job, but not if he's treating players where he's, like you said, Byron, you got to know who you can treat and how, right?
Yeah.
You got to know whose buttons you can push and how. Obviously Parcells knew how to push Lawrence Taylor's buttons, and back then they were used to it, right? And Lawrence Taylor produced. He was just a mean dog to begin with. So anyhow, that was good. All righty, we got that. We got that. We got everything. We got covered. All right. So Joey, tell us how we can listen to your show. Call the show, name of it, time, the donut bag, and how can we get to hear your show and talk all Pittsburgh?
On Twitter, I am Joey Bag of Donuts VN7F, and my show is a donut bag Mondays at 8.
Mondays 8 There you have it. It'll be in our link below. Mr. Byron Jones, traveler, world traveler. Hey, you had good internet. Why is the internet better here? Because it's colder?
Probably, man, because it's freezing out there.
I don't know. Sometimes you go to some places that I can't believe how bad the internet. Remember,
Yeah, yeah.
weren't you at a place that the TV and everything was out?
That was Atlantic City, yeah.
Atlantic City. All right. All right. So stay tuned. Don't forget to join every what time, Byron?
9 o'clock. Oh,
Every day that everybody goes, oh, I like your show. When can I hear it? It's at 8 p.m. like we tell you every year.
like the
My
last
internet,
5 years.
now I talked smack about your internet, and now it's mine is going down. So don't forget to subscribe to all our channels: YouTube, Spotify, X, Twitch. Subscribe, hit the smash the like button if you like what you hear. Listen, you're welcome to come on our show, talk to us, bring the heat if you can. I'd like to thank all our guest hosts. Joey, always a pleasure having you on. Mr. Byron Jones, always a pleasure. By the way, guess who I met today, real to end this show and finalize it? I met a gentleman. His name is Omar. He is a partner with Elite Talent Partners. It's a staffing firm, medical staffing firm, and recruiting firm. He's a Green Bay Packer fan because
Uh,
either his nephew or his cousin, I'm not sure, but it's a family man, is Xavier McKinney.
oh,
And I
the
had
one that
told him, yeah,
the
the
jump
one we
ship.
trade. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
He goes, oh, my cousin, my nephew. Man, I go, well, shout out. Oh, I didn't want him to go. And he's like, oh yeah, Medallions were getting killed. He goes, it wasn't him. I go, well, anyhow, it was funny because I told him, oh, you guys can talk everything about Giants. I go, yeah, but I like Xavier McKinney. I didn't want to go. You didn't want to see him go either, Byron.
no, I didn't, but he left and he's dead to me now. Like Saquon.
Like Saquon. All right. Well, thank you everybody for our show. Joey, it's always a pleasure. We'll be talking soon as the season starts. If anything happens, please let us know. Come on the show and make sure we make sure we're on the same path that we've been saying. I'm hoping that what we say comes to pass. I'd like to see Justin Fields take over in the future. Don't get me wrong, Joey, right? But I would like to see Russell Wilson have a good year, and go from there. And I'm just, some accounts are saying he's taking a little bit lackadaisical, but maybe that's his style. So, all right. Well, don't forget Jersey Boy Sportscast every Thursday, 8 p.m. Join our show, follow us, leave us a message. Have a good night, gentlemen. Good luck. God bless. Talk to you soon. Peace. You good, Joe?
Yeah.